the friends. Do not start your weight loss journey until you have these 7 things. In the past, every time that I tried to lose weight that I didn't have these things first, I failed. Once I realized that and I made sure that I had all these things before I started, it helped me set myself up for success, stick to what I was doing, and I was able to lose 130 pounds and keep it off for 9 years. Number 1. Measuring cups and spoons so that you have an idea of the portions and amount of food that you're eating. Because there is only one rule when it comes to losing weight, and that is you need to be in a calorie deficit, meaning you need to eat less. So anytime that I would be like super excited to go on a diet, I'd go get all my food, but I wouldn't have these tools on hand, I would eyeball my food and I'd end up eating way more than I thought. So it was counterproductive. And it doesn't matter, like Kyle and I, my husband, he's lost the same amount of weight as me, kept it off for the same amount of time. We chose portion control to help us get in a calorie deficit and lose weight. It doesn't matter the method that you're using, you still have to eat less. So that makes tools like these a huge necessity before you start any weight loss journey. And the cool thing is you can get these things anywhere. We usually get them from Walmart and the dollar store. And obviously, as you can see, like we have a bunch because we use them all day long. So it allows us to constantly make sure that we have the right amount of portions and things so that we stay on track. Number 2, a food scale. For the same reason as number 1, but what the food scale does is it helps us weigh out stuff like our meat or anything that doesn't have like a cup or a spoon measurement. So like grams and ounces and stuff. And I also really like the scale for if I'm like baking or making low-cal recipes or something that requires like grams and ounces and stuff. A scale is really good. You can get them again anywhere. We went to Walmart. There's actually a really good selection. This one's from Amazon, but again, like you can get them at whatever budget that you have. Number 3, an insulated lunch pail or cooler or both. I like to get them in different sizes because this eliminates excuses. When you have these, you then have stuff to take your food in and keep it for long periods of time when you're on the go. If you're at work, if you're traveling, if you're taking your kids like to sports or something, whatever you're doing, there's no excuse to go off track because you have your food with you. And why I like different sizes is because if I'm going somewhere for a long time, I want a big one so that I can bring more food. Or if like Kyle and I are going together, I like to have a big one so that I can pack both of our food together. And these ones are from like Marshalls and Winners, but we saw at Walmart, there's like a huge selection there too. Super important. And no excuses when you have something like that. And like I said, like I lost my weight with portion control. If you wanna know the exact food, exact portions and meals that I ate to lose the weight, you can buy my weight loss ebook called The First 50. The link's down below and code Nicole will save you 10%. And something that I like to put in my lunch pail when I'm on the go is these. These are the Huddle HTLT steps. They're the Seco Bar Plus. And as you can see, we really like them because they're almost gone. But they come in the 2 flavors, and Dirty Cookies and Cream and Caramel Toffee Crunch. 20 grams of protein. They taste like a chocolate bar, less sugar, more protein. They're great for on the go. Code Nicole will save you 10%, and the link is down below. And they have like really great tasting protein and lots of other stuff too. But these are really cool because they're a good snack for on the go. Tide me in between meals. Number 4. A reusable water jug, actually like a couple, because I did not drink really any water before I started, and I wanted to make a goal to drink about 2 liters or 8-ounce glasses a day because I learned when you drink water, especially with meals, It helps your belly feel fuller faster, so you're less likely to overeat when you're eating meals. But also, if you're not properly hydrated, your body will send you signals that you're hungry when you actually just need to drink more. So the water jugs allowed me to make sure that I was getting the right amount of water. And what I like was I fill them up at night, put them in the fridge. I'm way more motivated to drink cold water. So I made sure they were always super chilly so that I would like to drink them. But then I bring them with me everywhere. No excuse to drink high calorie drinks because I had my water jugs. And then I know, like when I check in the bottle, I know how much I still have to drink. And that way I can meet my goal by the end of every night. And that really helped me set myself up for success that way and be properly hydrated. Number 5, meal prep containers. We have tons. Oh my gosh. All the lids are other places too. But anyway, because you need to have food prepped and ready to go in your insulated lunch pail. Having meal prep containers is like super important because any time that I did not have my meals prepped and ready to go and I was hungry, all heck would break loose. I'd eat anything and everything, way more, and things that I didn't want to eat and way more than I wanted to eat. By having the meals prepped and ready to go sets me up for success. I throw them in my lunch pail on the go, or they're ready to go in the fridge and freezer so that I can just like heat them up. Also, I use my portion stuff to portion the meals into the containers. So not only do I have food ready, it's portioned so I can stay in a calorie deficit and I don't end up eating too much. So those are super great.
I'll add in a point here. Our minds are assholes.
Sorry, he's right.
So when you want to change your lifestyle, the mind loves routine. So if you want to get out of that old routine that you've been doing for 20 years or 30 years, your head is going to fight you every step of the way, and it will look for any excuse. If back in the day when we were failing, if we didn't have one lunch made, we would go way off track for weeks. That could be it, not having one lunch, one meal prepped.
Exactly. That's the thing. Every single thing that you see here in this video is to set you up for success. If you don't have these things and you start your journey without them, it's going to be very hard to sustain it. And as you can see, I have numerous containers, 2 lunch pails, lots of measuring cups, because I don't want an excuse. If my measuring cup set is dirty and I don't want to wash it, no excuse, Nicole, you got another set.
And by being prepped, just having all the things we're going to share, all these 7 things today, you're going to be ahead of 99% of people that start a diet willy-nilly and don't pre-plan for the diet, because we've failed so many times. We never, not one day in the last 8-9 years, do not go unprepared.
No. And that's like why
we can't afford to.
Exactly. Just because we lost the weight doesn't mean you set it and forget it. We have to every day check ourselves. We have to make sure that we're still portioning our food, prepping, got our lunch pails. We cannot have an excuse to go off track.
We will balloon up. Our types of body puts on weight very fast. We will balloon up quickly.
I call it, you gotta check yourself before you wreck yourself. I gotta check myself all day. Do I have my stuff? Do I have my lunch made? Am I ready?
Leveling off my peanut butter tablespoon every night, and because I'll get real funny with that.
Yes, and so that's another thing that a scale is really good at. If you think you're gonna go over, which I sometimes do, on the measuring cups and spoons, the scale is better for accuracy as well. You can just measure it right there. Moving on to number 6. Good running shoes. Now I know Sassy likes that I put mine on the cloth, but that's because they're wet because I used them this morning.
Well, usually you put your feet all over the counter with your dirty shoes. See? Like that.
I was going to put the dirty running shoes on the counter, but I was like, oh, I'll put it on the cloth for you.
This time you'll be fancy.
I'll be nice today, but it's fine. We washed the counter, but what I mean by good running shoes is ones that fit properly on your foot, that feel supportive and comfortable, and shoes that you can wear for a long period of time. If you have shoes that don't fit right, that don't feel good, and you can't walk in them for a long period of time, you're not going to be able to sustain the exercise that you plan on doing. And for me, anytime that I had bad shoes, I could barely stand, because at my heaviest weight, I was 275 pounds. My weight was causing me plantar fasciitis so bad in my left heel, I could barely walk. In order to commit to doing any sort of exercise, I needed proper shoes to help me get through and to sustain what I was doing. And I made the commitment. What I could do physically was 15 minutes of walking every single day. Once I had good shoes to do that, I was able to be consistent with it, because my feet, yes, were hurting from the plantar fasciitis, but my shoes were supporting me so I could carry out walking every day. I took a lot of breaks, but because I had good shoes and I could be consistent with it, I eventually was able to do 15 minutes straight of walking. And now, 9 years later, I do an hour, sometimes a little more
if we don't have a lot of money, just get the most comfortable, best shoes you can invest in, because it is an investment, because it is another thing, like all the other things we're showing, it will deter you from movement if you don't have comfortable running shoes.
Yeah, and like Kyle, these are right now, like, we're not sponsored, these are just what I'm using. These are the New Balance Fresh Foam.
The 1080V, I think.
V12, I think.
1080 V12, yeah, Fresh Foam. And it's funny because when we first started, one of the biggest investments was in New Balance running shoes, and we're not, like Nicole said, we're not sponsored, but we just found wide foot, a lot of pressure on our heels, that New Balance was the best for walking.
Yeah, and I actually have like 2 pairs of shoes, or like I have like the good slippers that you saw when I put my foot on the counter. I always like a pair of like sturdy shoes in the house too, because even though when I lost the weight, I pretty much healed the plantar fasciitis, I still have to have proper supportive shoes. I can't just slam my heel on the floor. So having good running shoes, whatever it is in your budget, just like Kyle said, and that's a point I was gonna make, get the best ones at your budget. No matter what it is, just make sure that they feel good and you can be in them for a long period of time.
And the unfortunate thing about running shoes, we've tested a lot over the years, you get what you pay for.
Yes, and that's another thing, like, I am and always have been on a budget, so if there's a pair of shoes that I know are gonna be really good, like the Fresh Foams are a little expensive, I will save. Like, I'll put away like $2 to $5 every paycheck into like a savings account until I get the amount of money for the shoes, and then I'll go buy them. And that's what I do. Like, if I can't afford a good shoe, I will budget until I get there, or save until I get there.
So like for me, I'd rather keep an old pair of shoes that I've worked in versus getting, like in Canada, you can't get under $100, $150 shoes. They're going to really hurt your feet if you do a lot of cardio like us.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is. So if I don't have the money, I'll just save until I can invest into a better pair, rather than get a bunch of cheap pairs of running shoes. Well,
and that's like what I always say to Kyle is the bonus of having two is I'll use my indoor if my outdoors start wearing out. I always have a backup pair so that I can actually save for another good pair. And so that's kind of how I do it, my strategy of like being on a budget and needing good shoes. The last one, number 7, last but not the least, cutie, having a journal or a coil notebook for tracking and keeping yourself accountable with food. I've used both. I know that there are apps like you can, like MyFitnessPal and stuff, and I'm not sponsored. I do use MyFitnessPal, but I'm a pen to paper girl. I've always used like a notebook or a journal to write down everything that I'm eating, because along with my weight, I also struggled with emotional eating. So I needed, even though I was using the scale and everything, I still needed to hold myself accountable. I needed to visually see my food written out. And I don't because obviously it was so long ago when I started, I don't have a exact what I ate, but it's in my first 50, but this is kind of what my tracking page looked like. I always put my water down here and I put the little boxes like this so that I can check it off as I go, make sure that I got my 8-ounce glasses. And then I would put the date, and this is the meals that I ate. I ate breakfast, lunch, dinner, 2 snacks, and I always made sure I ate a dessert because that helped me stay on track. And then I would put everything. If I overate, I put it down on the paper. everything. I was very honest. That way, if I weighed myself at the end of the week and I gained weight, I could go back and go, what happened? Or if I lost weight, I could go, what went right? What did I do right? Then I could see. When on the days I overate, I look back and I was like, why did I overeat at that time? Oh, I skipped a meal, or I didn't have enough food in the morning or something. So that's why the writing it out on paper really helped me. And like, I still, like you guys, I keep sticky notes. I literally have bunches of these. I need to see things written. I'm a visual person. So these things, the friends literally, like, Kyle and I, being at the weights that we were putting our life at risk. These things literally helped save our lives because they set us up for success and helped us do things that was sustainable, which was portion control and walking. Weight loss should never be a punishment, and by getting things that will help you sustain your weight loss, set you up for success, it's gonna feel so much easier, and like you can do it for the long haul. You're gonna wake up every morning and be so excited because you have the right tools to help you get through the day. You're keeping yourself accountable, you're measuring your food, you're eating what you like. It doesn't have to be hard. It's about setting yourself up for success, and that's what these things do.
Me and Nicole like to call it our foundation, where we don't want to build a house on quicksand. We want to build a house on a solid foundation, and the prep before you start the weight loss journey is what used to throw us off track if we didn't have it down.
Yeah, it's like really exciting when you make the decision to want to change, but if you go willy-nilly, you get all your food, you hurry up and choose a pair of shoes without making sure you can stay in them, you don't have any way of tracking or holding yourself accountable for your food, it's not going to work. By setting yourself up like this, you've got a much better chance. So hopefully this helps anybody that's, started but doesn't have these things, or like is ready to start. And also we have this vid and this vid that you can watch for more fun, sustainable tips for sustainable weight loss, because Sass and I are real people are losing weight in the real world. We're real friends losing weight in the real world, and this is what we do. We're on a budget, we're just two regular people, but this is how we do it, and that's why we share what we share, because we really struggled, and doing these things have really helped make it easier. Thanks for watching! You gotta wake up in the morning, you gotta love it, you gotta do. Oh yeah, I got my lunch, I got my stuff, I got my Rue. These are Rue running shoes on the counter. Watch this one. Sassy, put dirty shoes on the counter. Thank you so much for your support. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, you're worth it to love yourself and do things the sustainable way. Catch you in the next vid, cutaroo. Peace it. Love ya. Catch you in the next one, sweetie. You see this? Got my lunch. Well, yeah.
See ya.
Bye. Remember, the friends, that weight loss isn't just about the number on the scale. It's also about here and here. Heart and mindset. Fight through it. You can do it. Don't give up.